I took in a college student who turned out to be really handsome. When I was in a bad mood, I would yell at him. After he went back home, I ended our contract. He later became a major actor in the entertainment world. But during a shooting incident abroad, he shielded me. Now reborn. When I went to meet him, he lowered his eyes and asked me, "What do you want this time? Just say the word if I have it. After all, I'm your dog." While I was waiting in line for bubble tea, I overheard two girls in front of me chatting. "Have you seen? The media caught Felix's relationship. Facebook blew up. Top comment says he's rumored to be with little star Jill, right? Wasn't there gossip about him liking Gina? So not true. Gina? The sister of the president of S Group? Definitely arranged by S Group. Everyone knows Felix is now S Group's top star." I looked down, my toes tapping together, silently thinking, taro milk tea 1/3 sugar. My lips tightly pressed because I am the Gina they were talking about. 2 hours ago, I found out I was reborn. The sound of gunshots was still ringing in my ears, the moment when Felix shielded me, taking a bullet to his chest. He trembled while wiping away the blood on my face and gently told me, "Don't be afraid, Gina. I'll always be by your side." The warmth felt so real. I didn't expect him to be the one with me in my final moment. I didn't treat him well. I used him as a substitute. We had been apart for 2 years, but when I opened my eyes, I was back at the time we'd just separated, right after Felix shot to fame with a movie, winning an award for Best Actor. Despite numerous offers, he chose S Group for his entertainment company. Many advised him to think it over, since S Group was newly established. He ignored the gossip, signing a 10-year contract. For an actor, a decade has countless unknowns. Many reporters asked why he chose S Group. He looked at the camera expressionless. "It has what I've always pursued." After buying my tea, I headed straight to the set to find Felix. He was with Jill discussing something. Felix stood in the shade with his back to me. I heard Jill's voice, "Mr. Felix, I'm so dumb," always struggling to express the script's meaning. Felix comforted her. "It's okay, take it slow." During the shooting, Felix spoke to me in the same soothing way. Someone next to me asked what I was doing there. I glanced at the tea in my hand and carefully said, "I'm here to give Felix some bubble tea." There was laughter on set. "Felix sure is popular. How many people have brought him tea today already? Step back and don't disturb the crew." I hurried to explain. "I'm not his fan, I'm his girlfriend." "Yes, girlfriend," I repeated, trying to reassure myself. "Yeah, sure, girlfriend. Everyone says that today when they bring tea, stand over there." Felix heard and glanced over, walking towards me looking rigid and surprised. "Why are you here?" He wasn't shooting near me. By he meant Noah. In my last life, I never sought Felix out, always circling around Noah. Jill came over, asking Felix if I was his girlfriend. I looked at Felix too. "Am I?" Felix pressed his lips together, leading me to his lounge. I awkwardly handed him the tea. "Tough shoot. I got you your favorite bubble tea. Taro milk tea, low sugar, I remember." Felix didn't look at the tea, just gazed downwards. "Why are you seeking me out now? What do you want this time? Just say it if I have it. After all, I'm your dog." Seeing my shock, he retorted softly, "Aren't I?" Felix's comment didn't come from nowhere. One time, when he had a fever of 102 degrees Fahrenheit, he called me for some fever medicine. I was about to have dinner with Noah. Noah asked if I had to leave, and I carelessly said over the phone, "It's nothing, just a dog." Only at the end of my last life did I truly look at Felix's face. He wasn't like Noah. He had unique eyes that drew me in when I first met him, but it was too late. Now given another chance, I resolved to cherish Felix and show him my feelings. Felix coldly asked what I really wanted. I lowered my head, not daring to face him. "I want to get back together." "I got you tea." I remembered the flavor. Felix glanced at the tea and replied calmly, "Gina, I never liked taro milk tea. That's Noah's favorite. I said I liked it hoping you'd get one for me while buying his. But it never happened. Hearts broken eat 1,000 needles. Gina, why do you think I'd wait for you?" After Felix left, Jill asked if I was really his girlfriend. "No, just someone unimportant." His words were clear enough for me to hear. I stayed at the cruise hotel. That night, I called my sister-in-law Nancy, asking how she won over my brother, because she'd also once used him as a stand-in. Nancy said, just go for it. I swallowed hard, got dressed, and ran to Felix's room. The door suddenly opened, and I stumbled into his chest. Felix instinctively caught my waist, not firmly. His warmth seeped through my clothes, and the pleasant scent of his shower gel filled my nose. His hair was still dripping, water trailing down his throat, and disappearing into his shirt. Showering? No, he replied, voice husky. Felix looked at me, tugging awkwardly at my short skirt, speaking in his usual cold tone. Gina, what's up with the way you're dressed? In the warmly lit room, a glint caught my eye from the cufflinks on his jacket hanging by the rack. I froze in place. Those cufflinks, I gave them to him. When I was shopping for my brother's birthday gift, they threw them in as a freebie, and I casually passed them on to Felix. Turns out he kept them. Felix. I called his name, trying to hold back tears. What's going on? Before he could respond, I lunged forward, hugging him tightly. Pressed against him. I'm sorry, Felix, I really am. With a cold face, Felix pulled me away, got dressed and sat at a distance. Head bowed in shame, I silently let tears flow. Felix covered his face with his hand, voice detached. Gina, everything at S Group is running smoothly. If you need anything, go to your brother Jason. No need to bug me. You said it yourself, our contract's over. We don't owe each other anything. I'm just a substitute, Gina. Don't kid yourself. Suddenly his voice turned stone cold. Besides, you can always run to Noah. After a while I mumbled, if you're so over me, why keep the cufflinks I gave you? Felix looked at me, a cold laugh in his eyes. What are you getting at? You think I'm hanging on? Stuck on you? If you love this room so much, it's yours. I'll find another. He walked past me, not sparing me a glance from the corner of his eye. I held onto his sleeve, looking up at him. If you walk out now, I'll say you forced yourself on me. His tone was impatient, but he didn't shake off my hand. Cameras will show you came in dressed all distracting, trying to seduce me. Undeterred, I hugged him from the back. You could have had me kicked out, but you didn't. I tiptoed, shamelessly kissing him. You wanted to see me too, didn't you? He tried to push me off, but I clung tighter, kissed deeper. His hands, once poised to push, found their way to my shoulders and waist, wrapping closer bit by bit. One hand traced my waist down, the other sweeping hair behind my ear, whispering smugly, can you bark? Bark what? Say you're my dog. On tiptoe, shaking, I leaned in to kiss Felix. Suddenly, he harshly threw me onto the bed. Hovering over me, his eyes locked onto mine. Gina, what am I to you? Husband, I murmured softly. Felix's Adam's apple bobbed. He abruptly stood, tossing his coat over me before exiting, leaving one last remark. Don't dress like that again. He never liked me dressing provocatively. Once, I came home in a short skirt and strappy top. As soon as I stepped inside, someone hugged me from behind. A still awkward Felix nuzzled my neck, whining. Gina, where'd you go today? I shoved him away, irritable. I went out with friends. Is that a problem? Do I need to report my whereabouts to you? Felix blinked at me, somewhat stunned, eventually lowering his head. Gina, you went to Noah's movie premiere, right? I opened my mouth to say something, but Felix cut me off. Noah's movie was really good. Next time, can Gina take me too? Seeing Felix like this, I felt a twinge of guilt mixed with an indescribable feeling. I bit my lip, unsure how to answer. Felix hugged me tight, planting hard, fierce kisses. Wiping my lipstick away, he repeatedly asked, Gina, please don't wear these clothes outside, okay? I refused to agree, so he kept pushing. I relented with a muffled sound, making Felix smile foolishly. Pecking my cheek, he said, Good girl, my wife. Those words snapped me back to reality, and I pushed him away, scolding him for the reckless talk. An awkward silence filled the room, neither of us breaking it. But Felix's eyes grew misty. I worked as a stand-in on Felix's movie set. Felix and Jill were shooting a film financed by S Group. With my sister-in-law pregnant, my brother's work hours got trimmed. I volunteered to run company matters, producing this project. Using the perks my brother provided meant shouldering some duties. So when the stage folks rushed to say they needed a stand-in for Jill's water scenes, I stepped up, telling them to keep my role a secret. I didn't want to delay the schedule. As soon as I made it out of the water, A man's jacket was draped over me. Surprised, I turned to greet the newcomer. Noah, what brings you here? Noah ruffled my hair. That little girl always tailing me has grown up, helping her brother now. Jason should be thrilled. Subtly avoiding his familiar gestures. Since realizing my feelings for Felix, he's the only one I want close to. Felix, what are you looking at? Distant voices made me turn, spotting Felix approaching us, gaze fixed on me. Clearly speaking to Noah. I heard Noah's got a new film starting. What brings you here? Checking up on someone? Your girlfriend? Worried Felix might misunderstand, I jumped in to clarify. We're not. Felix's gaze fell on the jacket I was wearing. Your relationship doesn't interest me. With that, he turned on his heel and left, not a trace of regret. Noah watched me baffled, asking what happened. I forced a smile. Noah, do you like me? He was taken aback, stammering. Why yeah, I do. F. Then why, when I hinted so many times, did you never respond? If you don't, why not just say it instead of indulging me? When you like someone, you can't help but respond. It's a lesson I learned too late. The water temperature is still a bit chilly this season. I couldn't help but sneeze several times. The set manager handed me a few packs of cold medicine and reminded me to keep warm. After thanking him, I called my brother. I wanted to tell him that the set manager is quite considerate and should get a raise. After hanging up, I heard Jill's voice. I'm not sure why, but Felix just came back with a big pack of cold medicine. I booked a restaurant to have dinner with Felix to thank him for the cold medicine. Felix likes his food a bit spicy, so I specifically chose a Sichuan restaurant that had private couple seating. I used to love sweets. Felix always made sweet dishes for me. Now I want to adapt to his taste. Seeing Felix bring Jill to enjoy the couple's meal I booked made my face freeze. Oh, she's here too? I asked, confused. Jill looked at Felix, puzzled. Didn't you say you were bringing me to dinner? Why is someone else here? She's Jason's sister, Felix explained. Being on good terms with her could be beneficial for you. His thoughtful reminder to Jill sounded harsh to me. Suppressing a pang of jealousy, I poured drinks for Felix and Jill. Yes, you two are the leads in the new drama. I hope you both give it your best. Jill smiled warmly. Oh, I didn't realize it was you, Gina. Don't worry, audiences love a bit of romance. Felix and I will do well, we both have experience. How long have you two known each other? I asked gloomily. Jill bashfully glanced at Felix. 2 years now. 2 years. That's exactly how long Felix and I have known each other. Turns out, during the time we met, Felix had many girls around him, but he only had eyes for me. I treated him like a stand-in for someone else, taking out my bad moods on him. After Noah returned to the country, I even terminated my contract with him. How can I make Felix forgive me? Felix silently picked fish bones on the side. When we used to eat together, he always picked out the fish bones and peeled shrimp for me. Is he reminiscing about our old dinners? I watched eagerly as he picked up a piece of fish, hoping it was for me. I reached for my bowl, only to see Felix swivel his hand, placing the fish into Jill's bowl. Jill seemed to enjoy it very much. I used to serve Noah food in front of Felix too. Now I understand Felix's feelings back then, like a child abandoned and left as a wanderer. And I created that scenario countless times. Carefully, I placed food on Felix's plate: spicy chicken shreds, spicy rice cakes, all flavors he likes. But he just set what I served aside. Jill noticed something wrong and spoke up to stop me. Gina, Felix has been having nosebleeds lately, so he's eating milder food. Really? I thought he liked spicy. Felix put down his chopsticks, looking seriously at me. Tastes change. What I liked before, I don't anymore. Is it because I'm the one who served it that he doesn't like it now? Sensing the odd tension, Jill made an excuse to leave for filming. Felix tried to get up to leave with her, but I held him back. Can we take a picture together? I asked. We've been together all this time, but shockingly, I don't have a single photo with him. Felix looked at me intently. Eat something, he said. You haven't eaten much. Don't force yourself with this food. Your stomach can't handle it. Holding back tears, I pleaded. Felix, can we start over? I know I was wrong. Give me another chance. Without answering, he averted his gaze, silently ordering 2 mild dishes for me. It hurt more than I'd care to admit. I tried to evoke old memories. I remember the stuffed toys I loved are still in that house we shared. Can I go back to get them? After we broke up, I gave our shared house to Felix as compensation. I left without taking anything. Felix ignored me until a bowl of soup was served. Then he said, "Those pointless things should be dealt with anyway." I smiled. If they're so unnecessary, why didn't you throw them away? Who would care about something unimportant? Was he implying the toys don't matter? Or was he talking about me? He served me some soup, just scallions and no cilantro, the way I've always preferred. Was that just a coincidence? I went to the house we once shared to find Felix, but he wasn't home. An old neighbor was out selling his stuff. He's always been grumpy with me, but really likes Felix. I loved the grandfather's handmade pies, but could never get up early enough to line up for them. Felix found out, and would wake up early to buy them for me. Unfortunately, by the time I woke up, they were already cold. I'd throw a fit at Felix, whining his pies weren't warm. In time, Felix went to ask the grandpa to teach him how to make them, but would be chased away with a cane. I'd laugh at Felix with the old man. See, people don't just share their secrets. I told you, you can't do anything right. If this were Noah, he'd have it sorted in a jiffy. Felix didn't argue back. He'd just stand at the door quietly looking defeated. Then one day, he and the grandpa started kneading dough in the yard together. The old man would gossip with Felix. "Not many men like you who spoil their girlfriends. When are you getting married?" The loud voice of the grandpa pulled me back from my memories. "What are you here for? Didn't you say you'd never come back when you left?" I followed him. "Is Felix not home?" There's no scene for him today at the set. The sound of a door slamming shut was the grandpa's only response. The sun was blazing, and without breakfast, I was feeling unsteady. When I fainted, a pair of familiar hands caught me securely. When I woke up, I was looking at my brother Jason. I looked around and realized I was in a hospital, but there was no sign of Felix. I grabbed my brother's arm. "Where's Felix?" I swear I felt him by my side. Wasn't he the one who brought me to the hospital? My brother gave me an odd look and tucked me in. "You need to rest. I'll go get you something to eat. The doctor said you have low blood sugar." "What about Felix? Did he leave right after bringing me to the hospital?" My brother sighed. "It was your former neighbor who called 911 when you fainted." "Oh," I replied softly, and watched as my brother left the room. Feeling fine, I got out of bed, wanting to catch up to him to get my discharge papers done. I couldn't leave my film set without supervision. At the hospital corner, I heard my brother's voice. "You clearly brought Gina to the hospital. Why won't you admit it? Are you stuck on the fact she used you as a stand-in?" To be honest, my wife did the same with me. But what's past is past, you need to move forward. I can tell Gina likes you now. Why are you still hung up on the past? Facing him was Felix. My heart clenched. Like my brother, I was waiting for Felix's answer. Felix's voice was pleasant. "I know I should move forward, but she's an old flame. Boss, if it takes using your position for me and your sister to be together, I'd rather not." The shock made me weak at the knees, and I slid down against the wall. Suddenly, my brother was next to me. He crouched down, patting my shoulder. "No one is irreplaceable. I know some single guys you could meet. Seeing more people could help you not fixate on one person." His eyes were slightly gray. I knew my sister-in-law was having a tough pregnancy. I didn't want him to worry about me, so I nodded. The restaurant played music. Some people are irreplaceable, even if you don't know why. Promises are often like butterflies, beautiful but fleeting. But I believe the vow you gave me is like spring, always bound to arrive. That mirrored my current feelings. Date after date, I showed up as expected, but I felt divided. Part of me was floating above, watching myself smile, nod and say goodbye. I kept asking myself, who was that person just now? Until Felix sat across from me. He served me food. "Not eating well isn't good for you. A healthy body can do many things." I blurted out, "Then eat with me." I knew I shouldn't be so bossy, but I couldn't help it. Felix declined me, not even bothering with an excuse. "The sun is too hot right now. It's burning my skin. I'm leaving." In almost winter weather, how strong could the sun possibly be? The guy who once traveled miles to have a meal with me, I lost him. I cried uncontrollably at the table. Felix truly didn't want to see me anymore. I returned to the film set just in time for a media visit. To gain more exposure, the crew held a live stream. The chat was curious about Felix's type in a girlfriend. Many in the comments section wanted his answer. Honestly, I also wanted to know what kind of girl he liked now. Felix glanced at the camera, then quickly looked in my direction. I quickly looked away, pretending to admire the view outside. My chest quivered, but I hung on every word, listening for what he would say. No special requirements. As long as she likes me. I sighed, a textbook response straight out of a company playbook. I laughed at myself. Why would he care about me now? Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Jill standing nearby. No wonder he looked over here. Felix had told me beforehand about joining showbiz. Gina, if I become like Noah, will you notice me? He often imagined if I became the best actor, I'd announce you as my girlfriend right away. Together we fantasized. An abrupt announcement would cause you to lose fans, Felix, the great actor. Felix would retort, those aren't true fans if that happens. Not announcing it might cost me a future wife. I'd roll my eyes, but inside I felt inexplicably happy. I didn't think Felix meant it, but he did enter the entertainment world, and he really became a best actor. Sadly, things have changed, and he no longer mentions Gina in interviews. After the live stream, I confronted Felix. He looked weary. Was it exhaustion? I poked his arm. He struggled to keep steady. I reached out to let him hold on to me. He grabbed my sleeve, avoiding my hand. Once he was stable, I asked what was wrong. He just shook his head. Sighing, I asked, can you stay with me for a few days? After that, I'll stop bothering you. He hesitated. How long? A week, I replied. I checked the weather forecast and knew we'd get snow in a week. I wanted to experience it with Felix. If today we were to watch the snow together, it might feel like a lifetime. Felix said, no, not a week. Just 2 days. You're pushing it. I gave him a side eye. The rest of you belongs to Jill, and you can't spare a week for me? Felix replied, remember when it rained, what did I do? During rain, I stayed home enjoying it by the window. I never noted Felix's actions. When you didn't watch me, I didn't watch the rain. It's not worth noting. Neither is the snow. Sunlight beamed through the window. Felix complained it was too bright and left. In single-digit temperatures, Felix felt warm. Last time, he used this flimsy excuse to ditch me too. He didn't even bother to pretend. I saw him go to meet Jill. Maybe that's why he's so weak. Felix gave me just one night. He said that was enough to say goodbye. I nodded. For someone insignificant, even one night is a waste of time. When Felix came to see me, I was asleep. I felt cool fingers touch my face, and I couldn't help but shiver. When I opened my eyes, there he was. Felix was staring at his hand, then he clenched his fist. Awkwardly, I tried to start a conversation. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna make food. Want some? I was scared he'd turn me down. I wanted to make him a pie. Begged old man Noah for ages to teach me. He only agreed when he found out it was for Felix. While I was kneading the dough, Felix leaned against the door frame and chatted with me. Seeing you can take care of yourself now makes me feel at ease. Tears dripped onto the dough. Feeling at ease enough to leave me forever? He just smiled lightly, yeah. Then he started rambling. Your stomach's sensitive, avoid cold food. Around the 5th of each month is your cycle. So don't eat icy stuff from the 1st. Warm water's best. Try to sleep by midnight, and don't look at your phone in the dark. Maybe it was the warm light, but his expression seemed so gentle. I almost whispered to myself, why tell me this? Are you gonna miss me? His eyes were as dark as ink. Oh, I mistook you for Jill. Felix's phone rang. I glanced at the caller ID. It was Jill. He stepped away to take the call. He said some things I couldn't hear, then was ready to say goodbye. I had so many questions, but only one came out. What's Jill like? Fell's voice was flat. Someone different from you. My eyelids fluttered, and I turned away. You're not eating the pie. Nah, it's not that great. Quickly wiping away tears, I pleaded with a shaky voice. Can I kiss you? Felix looked at me deeply and silently refused. I smiled. Jill will love you for me from now on. His phone kept ringing. He glanced at it and hung up. Noah's nice too. I pretended to be casual. Are you pushing me to Noah to avoid me clinging on to you? Don't worry, I won't bother you. Felix gave a wry smile. Good, live your life well. Gina, I like you. But that's over now. No one waits forever. Nobody keeps looking back at a faded scene. It took me so long to get through those painful days. So please don't disturb me again. Don't think of me anymore. Live like you never met me, okay? I said okay. I watched Felix leave, his steps light. I watched him turn and walk into the night. I'd never really seen his back before. Whenever he saw me off, no matter the hour, if I turned back, he'd always be there watching me. Now it was my turn to watch him from behind. I realized not everything has a glimmer of hope. I saw two people heading towards Felix, one black, one white. That's when I understood something. I dashed downstairs, tripped hard at the corner. Felix was weak, sensitive to the sun, and his tastes became bland. I only noticed he changed, never why he changed. I suddenly burst into tears, crying madly, unable to say a thing. People passing by knew something was off and called the cops. At the station, officers patiently asked what was wrong. I couldn't say, just cried. A cop across from me was scrolling through his phone, then screamed, "Oh my God, actor Felix suddenly died, cause unknown." I cried even harder. The person I love, he's dead. Gone forever. I'm Felix. I like Gina. Lots of people know this, except Gina herself. Because she likes Noah. I stayed by her side, said I'd make a deal. She gave me money, and I'd be Noah's stand-in. Using money as an excuse gave me a chance to love her freely. But she always thought I was in it for the cash. Actually, it was for her, the one and only Gina. The night Noah returned, Gina ended our deal. Inside, I panicked but showed nothing. I knew she wanted to cut ties, and I was scared my pleas would push her further away. So, I pretended to agree but kept quietly watching her. Over time, my selfish desires grew. I wanted her to notice me more. That's why I became a public figure. I thought with her watching Noah so often, she might stop and see me once, even for a moment. I followed her, took a bullet for her. My Gina is kind. Soaked in blood, she struggled to push me to safety. Her voice was soft and repetitive. Felix, leave this place. I held her close, over and over telling her it'd be okay. I felt Gina's breath fade, until she was still in my arms. Two cloaked figures approached, holding chains. I watched them carefully. They wanted to take Gina away. How could I allow it? We held our ground, and I saw them whispering amongst themselves. Finally, one asked, "Trade your life for hers. Will you?" How could I refuse? But I never expected, in this second chance, that Gina would say she liked me. The timing for this newfound affection isn't right. I've got just 15 days left to live. I've known the pain of losing someone you care about, and once was enough for me. Things in life are often so messed up like this. Gina's affection scares me. She's so genuine, both with people and things. I'm afraid she won't be able to handle my departure. So I keep pushing her away. When I see her all dolled up standing at my door, I can't help but swallow nervously. When she hugs me, my heart races. But I know I'm not in a position to reciprocate. So I say hurtful things, hoping she'll back off. But she still clings to me and won't let go. You can't do this, Gina. You've got to pull away in time, or you'll get hurt. Also, don't wear short skirts and tank tops around men at night. You've got to protect yourself. How could I bear to leave such a Gina behind? Jill asked me if Gina's my girlfriend. I guess she is, but she can't be. When Gina asked me to dinner, I brought Jill along. Having a third person there helps me keep my boundaries. I'm worried I can't control myself. I can't resist picking out fish bones for her. But at the last moment, I snap out of it and put the fish in Jill's bowl instead. I see the hurt in Gina's eyes, but I have no choice. Time's not on my side, and I can't give her any hope. I once dreamt that my agent wouldn't let me drink bubble tea, but Gina would secretly get me some taro bubble tea with 30% sugar. That's our little secret. My love for her will remain my secret, just for me to know. When Gina fainted from low blood sugar, I was at a loss. I had to tell Jason to hook Gina up with some eligible bachelors, so she could forget about me as soon as possible. I watched her from a corner during every blind date, determined to help her find someone who can take care of her. But Gina always seemed distracted and didn't eat well. How can you be healthy without eating? I was really grateful for my own decent health. Otherwise, how could I look after Gina? I saw her longing for me in her eyes and quickly fled, afraid my feelings might slip through my gaze. When she was making pies for me, I noticed her hands were shaking. I looked away. I thought she'd forget me in due time. But Gina never looked up at me again. Her tear-filled eyes became the last scene of our eye contact. I saw those two cloaked figures urging me to go. They asked who Gina was to me. I froze, not knowing how to describe what Gina means to me now. Just somebody I know. Our relationship boiled down to those 4 words. I hope Gina can move on. I'm sure I've hurt her deeply enough on purpose. In a month or so, I think Gina's world will be without Felix. And that's for the best. Someone called me from behind. I saw Gina sprinting towards me, telling those cloaked figures, "I want to go with you guys." I shook my head desperately. "No, Gina. You should live on with a bright smile. Warmth and light should surround you. How could you come to this dark place?" Gina held my hand. 2 lifetimes, and all I wanted was to say I love you. Life without you is incomplete. Your regret is that nobody ever chose you with conviction. Now, I'm making up for that. When you're sad, you don't have to hide under the covers quietly. I'll hold you. Felix, let's go together. The night went completely dark, with the moon shining down on me. The end.